Have you ever felt as if your dreams are just out of reach, no matter how hard you try? What if I told you that the secret to shifting your life and manifesting your desires hinges on one profound truth: putting God first and learning to trust? Imagine this journey of faith as more than simply believing in the unseen. It's about exploring a state of being that resonates at a higher frequency. What if I told you that invoking faith, especially during challenging times, isn't just a concept? It's a powerful act that shifts your vibrational energy and enables you to attract the desires that God has placed in your heart. Many people overlook the profound connection between faith and vibration. When you choose to embody faith, to hold on to that unwavering belief despite life's turbulence, you are actively changing the energy you emit into the universe. This is crucial because God has granted us not only free will, but also the ability to reach any desire we can envision. However, the catch lies in our capacity to maintain those visions alongside elevated emotions, such as love, joy, and gratitude. No one truly explains that God isn't up in the heavens, sending us gifts or blessings from afar. Instead, everything we desire is already created. The potential exists in the divine realm. What we need to do is align ourselves with the frequency of those desires to bring them into our physical reality. Every aspiration, every dream, in essence, the manifestations of our hearts, requires us to elevate our thoughts and emotions consistently. In the next few minutes, we will uncover how maintaining this state of faith and elevating our emotions can lead us to fulfill our deepest desires, and how placing God at the forefront of our lives provides us with the clarity we need to navigate our journey. You will learn practical steps to cultivate an unwavering faith that empowers you to access the abundance God has already prepared for you. Stay with us until the end of this video, and you will discover how to leverage your free will and the power of your thoughts to manifest the life you've always wanted. This discussion will illuminate critical insights on how to maintain that elevated emotional state so essential for the realization of your dreams. Before we begin, I encourage you to engage with our community by commenting, "Trusting God first." This phrase signifies your commitment to putting God at the center of your life's journey. Also, liking this video helps ensure that this vital message reaches more people who are searching for guidance on their paths. Thank you for joining us on this meaningful exploration. Remember that many people rely on this content for spiritual affirmation and support, particularly if they lack a local church. Your participation fosters a nurturing space for believers seeking to grow in faith and understanding. As we embark on this enlightening exploration of how to shift your life by prioritizing God and trusting in His plan, prepare to unlock profound insights that speak directly to your heart. The study begins now. To fully embrace the concept of shifting your life by putting God first and trusting Him, we must first examine the foundational aspects of faith and how they can transform our daily experiences. Faith is not merely a fleeting emotion or an abstract concept. It is a powerful state of being, a conscious decision to align our lives with divine principles and the promise of God's guidance. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus encourages, "But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." This profound declaration underscores the importance of prioritizing God above all else. When we make a conscious effort to seek God's guidance, we open ourselves to receive His blessings and provision. This alignment with God invites His divine order into our lives, transforming our circumstances and renewing our spirits. Putting God first means acknowledging His sovereignty and importance in every area of our lives. It requires a shift in perspective, from trying to control our outcomes to fully trusting that God is at work, even when we cannot see it. Understanding that our highest calling is to pursue a relationship with Him lays the groundwork for accessing our true desires. Consider this: when we cultivate an attitude of trust, it elevates our emotional state and aligns us with the vibrational frequency of God's love and grace. Trusting in God creates an internal environment of peace and assurance, enabling us to face challenges with faith rather than fear. This is further illustrated in the story of Abraham, who exemplified immense faith. God promised Abraham that he would be the father of many nations, and despite his old age and seemingly impossibilities, he trusted God's promise. This brings us to a critical question. How do we cultivate such a deep trust in God, especially during life's uncertainties? It starts with intentional practices aimed at nurturing our relationship with Him. Prayer, meditation, and reading Scripture are powerful tools that help us connect with God and instill a sense of calm within us. When we take time to invite God into our thoughts and decisions, we bolster our ability to trust in His plan. It is important to acknowledge the role played by our limiting beliefs. At times, these beliefs can sabotage our walk of faith, causing us to doubt God's goodness and provision. We may question whether we deserve His blessings or if we are capable of achieving our desires. This doubt can lead to an emotional state of unrest, blocking our connection to the divine. In contrast, when we actively shift our focus towards God, remembering His promises, reflecting on His goodness, and embracing His love, we dismantle the barriers that hinder our progress. Just as Romans 12:2 calls us to be transformed by the renewal of your mind, we can actively reshape our thoughts and beliefs to reflect God's truth. Maintaining emotions of gratitude and joy is essential as well. These elevated emotions connect us to God and provide the faith needed to persevere, even in times of struggle. They serve as a reminder that our journey is shaped by God's love and purpose, instilling hope and enthusiasm in pursuing our dreams. Moreover, community plays a vital role in our journey of faith. Surrounding ourselves with fellow believers who encourage and uplift us can help reinforce the importance of putting God first and trusting Him. When we engage in discussions about faith and share our experiences, we create a supportive atmosphere that fosters spiritual growth and collective understanding. In summary, understanding the foundations of faith as we put God first is an essential step toward accessing the bigger plan He has for our lives. By nurturing trust through intentional practices, overcoming limiting beliefs, and surrounding ourselves with supportive community, we can cultivate a life filled with purpose and divine fulfillment. As we transition to the next section, reflect on how you can intentionally prioritize God in your daily life. Consider the practical steps you can take to deepen your connection, allowing His voice to guide you and align your actions with His will. Prepare yourself for the next part of our journey as we delve into more biblical examples. Individuals who embrace the call to put God first and experience divine revelations that transform their lives. Each story will continue to illuminate the path you are on in your quest for purpose. As we continue our exploration of how to shift our lives by putting God first and trusting in His plan, we encounter the story of Mary and Martha, found in Luke 10:38-42. This narrative beautifully illustrates the conflict between worldly distractions and the essential act of prioritizing God in our lives. It serves as a reminder that the choices we make in our daily pursuits can profoundly affect our relationship with Him and our ability to access His larger plan for us. The scene unfolds as Jesus visits the home of Martha and Mary. While Martha busies herself with preparations and tasks, her sister Mary sits at the feet of Jesus, listening to His teachings. This moment captures the essence of the choices we face every day. Should we focus on the tasks at hand or devote our attention to nurturing our relationship with God? Martha, overwhelmed by the demands of hospitality, approaches Jesus, frustrated that Mary has left her to do all the work. She asks, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me." Luke 10:40. In this plea, we witness the common human struggle of prioritizing responsibilities over spiritual nourishment. Martha's dissatisfaction stems from a desire to please Jesus through action, rather than recognizing the importance of the relationship at hand. Jesus gently responds to Martha, saying, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her." Luke 10:41-42. This response highlights a critical truth. While our efforts and works are significant, the most important aspect of our lives is our relationship with God. When we prioritize that connection, everything else falls into place. This narrative invites us to reflect on our own lives. How often do we find ourselves distracted by the myriad of tasks, responsibilities, and worries that life throws our way? In our busyness, we may forget to prioritize our spiritual engagement, inadvertently severing our connection with God. The call to action is clear. We must actively decide to be like Mary, who chose to sit at Jesus' feet and soak in his presence, rather than letting distractions pull her away from what truly matters. Mary's choice illustrates an important principle regarding trust. By setting aside her tasks to focus on Jesus, she demonstrates a deep level of faith that conveys an understanding that spiritual nourishment is critical. This mirrors our own journey of faith. When we choose to prioritize God over the chaos of life, we cultivate trust in Him. In turn, this trust strengthens our ability to hear His voice and discern His guidance. As you consider how to incorporate this lesson into your life, think about the specific areas where you might need to choose the good portion. What distractions frequently pull your attention away from God? Are there tasks, obligations, or even anxieties that keep you from worship, prayer, and connecting with the divine? To begin prioritizing God, establish daily moments of quiet reflection. Whether it's mornings spent in prayer, reading scripture, or simply sitting in silence, intentionally carving out time for God transforms how you approach each day. It sets the tone, allowing you to invite His presence into everything you do. Additionally, examine your heart for any feelings of guilt or shame that arise when you choose to prioritize your spiritual growth over worldly expectations. Trust that putting God first cultivates an environment where you can flourish, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Moreover, consider the importance of community in reinforcing these practices. Just as Mary and Martha had each other, seek relationships with fellow believers who understand the significance of prioritizing God. Engage in conversations about faith, share your struggles, and encourage one another to remain steadfast in pursuing spiritual growth. As we conclude this section, let Mary and Martha's story serve as an inspiring reminder to put God first and trust in His plans. Embrace the call to prioritize your spiritual walk, recognizing that when you do, you open the door to accessing the bigger plans He has designed for you. Prepare yourself for the next section as we continue to uncover more biblical examples of individuals who have successfully put God first and embraced His guidance. Their stories will empower you to align your life further with God's calling. As we progress in our exploration of how to access the bigger plan God has for you, we turn to the remarkable life of Abraham, a pivotal figure in the Bible known for his profound faith and unwavering trust in God. Found in Genesis 12-22, Abraham's journey exemplifies the essence of putting God first and trusting in his promises, even when faced with the unknown and seemingly insurmountable challenges. The narrative begins with God calling Abraham to leave his homeland, family, and everything familiar. Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. Genesis 12:1. This radical command illustrates the first principle in accessing God's bigger plan: obedience. Abraham is asked not only to leave behind his life as he knew it, but also to step into uncertainty and adventure, not knowing what lay ahead. Imagine the emotions that surged through Abraham as he prepared to leave everything behind. Excitement, fear, doubt, and hope would mingle in his heart. Yet in this moment of divine invitation, he chooses to trust God's promise, "And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing." Genesis 12:2. This commitment to trust leads Abraham on an extraordinary journey of faith, marked by both triumphs and trials. As Abraham traveled to the land God promised, he encountered numerous challenges: famine, conflicts, and moments of doubt. However, through each struggle, God remained faithful, reaffirming his covenant with Abraham. One key event is the promise of a son, Isaac, even when Abraham and Sarah are beyond childbearing age. The scripture states, "Is anything too hard for the Lord?" Genesis 18:14. This question serves as a reminder that God's plans often transcend human understanding. They operate on a divine timeline beyond our grasp. Abraham's trust is further tested when God eventually asks him to sacrifice Isaac, the very son he had been promised. This moment is intense, stirring deep emotions of fear and confusion. Yet Abraham's unwavering faith shines through as he prepares to follow God's command without hesitation. In this act of ultimate obedience, Abraham demonstrates that putting God first requires trust beyond comprehension, a willingness to surrender even the most precious aspects of our lives for the sake of his purpose. The story reaches a climactic moment as God intervenes just before Abraham sacrifices Isaac, providing a ram as a substitute offering. Here we witness a powerful affirmation of God's faithfulness. "Now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Genesis 22:12. This moment encapsulates the essence of trusting God. It is not only about the actions we take, but about the heart behind them. As we consider Abraham's journey, think about the areas of your life where trust in God might be needed. Are there dreams or desires that require you to let go of control? Much like Abraham had to let go of his son? God's plans for us often require us to move beyond what is comfortable and familiar, asking us to trust that He always has our best interest at heart. Putting God first in your life means actively seeking His guidance in difficult decisions, surrendering your fears, and believing that He will provide for your needs just as He did for Abraham. Regular prayer is a vital part of this process, inviting God into your heart and seeking His wisdom in every aspect of your journey. Moreover, recognizing that God's purposes are often revealed along the way can instill hope in your journey. Just as God guided Abraham step by step, He does the same for us today. Keep your heart open to His direction, even if it means taking unexpected paths. In conclusion, the story of Abraham serves as a powerful reminder that putting God first involves an active trust that transcends understanding. When we courageously step into the unknown, surrendering our dreams and fears, we access the bigger plan God has for us, a plan suffused with purpose, love, and divine endorsement. As we transition to the next section, prepare yourself to explore additional biblical figures who exemplified faith and obedience in pursuit of their divine calling. Their stories will continue to inspire and illuminate your own journey toward accessing the glorious plans God holds for you. As we delve deeper into the secret of shifting life by putting God first and trusting in Him, we encounter the inspiring story of Daniel in the lion's den, recounted in Daniel 6. This powerful narrative highlights what it means to remain steadfast in faith and prioritize one's relationship with God, even when faced with danger and adversity. Daniel's unwavering trust in God exemplifies how faith can conquer fear and open the door to divine intervention. The story unfolds in Babylon, where Daniel distinguishes himself in the service of King Darius because of his exceptional qualities. Though he is an exile in a foreign land, Daniel's integrity and commitment to God make him stand out. The king plans to set him over the entire kingdom, much to the jealousy of other officials. Conspiring against him, they manipulate the king into issuing a decree that anyone who prays to anyone other than the king over the next 30 days will be thrown into the lion's den. Faced with this decree, Daniel's response is both courageous and profound. Instead of succumbing to fear or abandoning his faith, he continues his daily practice of prayer, as he always has, opening his windows toward Jerusalem and kneeling 3 times a day. His unwavering devotion exemplifies the essence of putting God first, prioritizing His presence and guidance above all worldly pressures. This remarkable act of trust and consistency highlights the foundational truth that when we align our actions with our faith, we fortify our spiritual resolve. Daniel's commitment to prayer symbolizes a deep trust that God oversees his destiny, and this trust serves as his anchor amidst the tumult. The inevitable happens. Daniel's steadfastness leads to his capture, and he is cast into the lion's den. However, what awaits is an extraordinary testament to the power of trust and divine protection. That night, God sends an angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and Daniel emerges unscathed. King Darius, having witnessed this miracle, declares, "He is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed, and his dominion shall be to the end." Daniel 6:26. This proclamation underscores that true faith not only transforms individuals, but serves as a beacon of light, impacting the perception of others and drawing them toward God's truth. Daniel's story challenges us to reflect on the situations where our faith in God is tested. Are there trials or challenges that cause you to question your trust in God's plans? Like Daniel, are you willing to maintain your commitment to God even when facing significant adversity? To incorporate Daniel's example into your life, cultivate a consistent prayer practice. By dedicating time daily to connect with God, you nurture a trust that can withstand even the most difficult trials. Prayer fosters a sense of peace and assurance, reminding you that God is with you in every moment and that He is greater than any fear you may face. Additionally, Daniel's story highlights the power of character and integrity in glorifying God. His unwavering commitment demonstrated that his faith was not dependent on circumstances, but was his guiding force. Ask yourself how you can embody such integrity in your own life. Whether in professional endeavors or personal relationships, acting with honesty and conviction aligns your actions with your faith and establishes a foundation of trust. Furthermore, recognize how the testimony of Daniel's saved life became an instrument for demonstrating God's reality to King Darius and others. Your response to trials can serve as a powerful witness to those around you. Let your journey of faith inspire others to seek the divine hope you carry. In conclusion, Daniel's story teaches us that putting God first means trusting Him fully, regardless of the threats or trials we may encounter. It encourages us to hold steadfast in our practices of faith, allowing our relationship with God to guide and protect us. As you reflect on Daniel's narrative, examine the ways you can integrate this trust into areas of your life where you currently feel overwhelmed or fearful. Know that as you prioritize God's guidance and maintain your integrity, you access His greater plans, which are abundant with purpose and protection. Prepare yourself for the next section, where we will explore another biblical figure who embodies the transformative power of placing God at the center of their lives, demonstrating the opportunities and blessings that emerge from wholehearted trust. Our exploration of putting God first and trusting in His divine plan leads us to the remarkable story of Ruth, a woman whose journey of faith and loyalty has inspired generations. Found in the book of Ruth, her story illustrates how unwavering devotion and trust in God's provision can lead to redemption, purpose, and unforeseen blessings. Ruth's story begins in a time of great hardship. A famine has ravaged the land, and she finds herself widowed, living in Moab with her mother-in-law, Naomi, who has also lost her husband and 2 sons. Facing an uncertain future, Naomi decides to return to her homeland of Bethlehem. In a poignant moment of choice, Ruth demonstrates her fierce loyalty by choosing to accompany Naomi, uttering the profound words, "Where you go, I will go," and "Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God." Ruth 1:16. This decision marks a turning point in Ruth's life, illustrating the first principle of putting God first: devotion. Ruth's willingness to leave behind family, homeland, and comfort reflects a deep-seated trust in God's plan, even when the path ahead seems shrouded in uncertainty. Her devotion is not only to Naomi, but also to the God Naomi worships, a commitment that sets the stage for the unfolding of God's larger plan. Upon arriving in Bethlehem, Ruth supports Naomi and herself by gleaning in the fields, gathering leftover grains during the harvest. Her humility and hard-working spirit shine through, attracting the attention of Boaz, a wealthy relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz notices Ruth's dedication, kindness, and the sacrifices she has made for Naomi, and extends his protection and favor to her. Ruth's story underscores a significant truth. When we put God first by acting with integrity and devotion, He takes notice and opens doors that lead to favor and provision. Her actions demonstrate an important principle in accessing God's plan. Embracing faithfulness in even the smallest tasks invites divine opportunities. Boaz's kindness and Ruth's reputation of loyalty eventually lead to a deep relationship, culminating in marriage. Ruth's faithfulness transforms her status from a foreign widow to the great-grandmother of King David, a linchpin in the lineage of Jesus Christ. This divine orchestration portrays the essence of trusting in God's timing and His bigger picture, even when immediate circumstances appear bleak. To implement Ruth's example in your life, consider how you can demonstrate devotion and trust in God amidst uncertainty. Are there relationships requiring emotional investment or commitments needing deepening to reflect your faith in God's provision? Ruth's journey also highlights the importance of taking tangible steps toward achieving your desires. By actively seeking work and engaging in the process of provision, Ruth reflects the balance of faith and action. As you place God first, take proactive steps in your life that demonstrate trust in His plan, observing how He aligns opportunities with your personal journey. Additionally, Ruth's story emphasizes the power of community. She and Naomi rely on each other for support, strength, and companionship. Seek relationships that nurture your spirit and align with your values, understanding that surrounding yourself with those who reflect God's love encourages you to strengthen your own commitment to trusting His guidance. In summary, Ruth's story exemplifies the transformative power of devotion and trust. Putting God first through loyalty, humility, and hard work paves the way for blessings that ripple through generations. Ruth shows us that amid life's uncertainties, true change and purpose emerge when we align ourselves with God's will. As we prepare to transition into the next section, reflect on how Ruth's journey of faith and trust in God's provision can inspire meaningful shifts in your own life. Recognize that as you prioritize your relationship with God and trust in His timing, you invite His divine hand to guide you toward fulfilling the greater purpose He has designed. As we continue our exploration of the secret to shifting your life by putting God first and trusting His plan, we turn to the story of Gideon, found in Judges 6-7. Gideon's journey from doubt to mighty leader serves as a compelling illustration of how faith in God can transform self-doubt into divine strength and purpose. In the backdrop of Gideon's story, the Israelites find themselves oppressed by the Midianites, driven to hide in caves and strongholds. Gideon, the youngest member of his family, works in obscurity, threshing wheat in a winepress to hide from the enemy. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appears, declaring, "The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor." Judges 6:12. This greeting, though unexpected, sets the stage for God's miraculous plan through Gideon, a plan rooted in seeing beyond human limitations. Gideon's initial reaction is one of doubt and insecurity. He questions, "Please, Lord, how can I save Israel? Behold, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house." Judges 6:15. Here we observe the weight of self-doubt and limiting beliefs that can overshadow our understanding of God's purpose for our lives. Yet, God's response is simple and powerful. "But I will be with you, and you shall strike the Midianites as one man." Judges 6:16. This dialogue highlights a profound understanding. When God calls us, He provides the strength and resources we need to fulfill His purpose. Gideon's story invites us to consider our own self-perceptions. How often do we allow our weaknesses to dictate our potential rather than trusting in God's strength? As Gideon embraces his calling, he requests multiple signs from God to confirm His promise. These requests demonstrate both his hesitance and his desire for assurance. God, in His patience and grace, provides each sign, reinforcing His presence and guidance. These moments illustrate the beauty of authentic faith. It's okay to wrestle with doubt as long as we remain open to God's reassurance. When seeking confirmation of God's plan in our lives, lean on prayer and introspection. It is in these moments of seeking that we position ourselves to hear God's voice and witness His affirmations. As Gideon gathers an army to face the Midianites, God instructs him to reduce his troops drastically from thousands to merely 300 men. This drastic reduction ensures that the ultimate victory will not be attributed to human strength, but to God's power. The odds seem insurmountable, yet Gideon obeys. The act of faith required to proceed with such a small force illustrates the essence of trust, believing in God's power above our own understanding. In a miraculous victory, Gideon and his 300 men, armed only with trumpets, torches, and jars, confuse and defeat the Midianite army. This outcome underscores a profound truth. When we trust in God's plan, despite daunting odds, we open ourselves to witness His miracles. Gideon's transformation from a hesitant individual to a decisive leader inspires us to embrace God's calling with courage. When we place God first and allow Him to guide us, He can transform our insecurities into strengths, positioning us for incredible victories. To apply Gideon's journey to your life, reflect on your areas of insecurity or doubt. Are there situations where God is calling you to trust in His strength rather than relying on your own? Engage deeply in prayer, seeking clarity and boldness to pursue His plan even when facing life's challenges. Additionally, consider the importance of humility in leadership. Gideon's success lay not in his own power, but in his obedience to God. By adopting a posture of humility and reliance on God's wisdom, you create space for divine intervention in your life. As we conclude this section, let Gideon's story encourage you to step out in faith and trust in God's purpose. Remember that the secret to shifting your life lies in acknowledging God's authority over every challenge and embracing His power to guide you toward fulfillment and success. Prepare for the next section as we explore other biblical figures whose trust in God led to transformational life shifts, offering lessons that inspire and direct our spiritual journey. As we continue our exploration of how to access the bigger, a plan God has for you, let's turn our attention to the transformative encounter between Jesus and the Samaritan woman at the well, found in John 4:1-30. This beautiful story illustrates how putting God first and trusting Him can shake the foundations of our lives, leading to profound transformation and purpose. In this account, we find Jesus traveling through Samaria, where traditional Jewish customs typically kept Jews away from Samaritans. However, Jesus intentionally breaks social barriers by choosing to rest at Jacob's well, where He meets the Samaritan woman. The mere act of approaching her signifies the depth of His love and purpose, demonstrating that God reaches out to all people, regardless of their past or societal standing. The woman comes to the well at noon, likely avoiding others due to the stigma surrounding her lifestyle. As she draws water, an unexpected conversation unfolds when Jesus asks her for a drink. This simple request is the catalyst for a profound dialogue about life-giving water and true worship. Jesus tells her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again." John 4:13-14. This statement invites us to reflect on our lives. What are the thirsts we pursue that ultimately leave us empty? The woman, initially perplexed by Jesus' words, embodies the struggle many face when seeking fulfillment in things that do not satisfy. Her heart yearns for something more, yet she is caught in cycles of unworthiness and shame. As Jesus reveals details of her past, her 5 husbands, and the man she is currently living with, He addresses the deep-seated issues that have kept her trapped. Despite her past failures, Jesus does not condemn her. Instead, He offers her hope and healing. God's approach is inherently one of grace, welcoming us to confront our shortcomings without fear of judgment. This pivotal moment showcases a crucial aspect of putting God first, acknowledging our realities and surrendering the weight of our burdens to Him. In recognizing our need for healing, we begin to align ourselves with God's purpose for our lives. It highlights that true transformation begins when we are made aware of the areas where we need God's touch. Furthermore, the culmination of their conversation brings the woman to the realization of who Jesus is, a prophet, John 4:19, who offers her the living water that will quench her thirst forever. In her moment of revelation, she discovers her divine purpose to share this transformative experience with her community. Excited and emboldened, she runs back to her village to tell others about Jesus, effectively becoming the first evangelist in this narrative and leading many to faith. This transformative encounter illustrates that trusting in God not only provides personal healing, but also empowers us to spread His message. Every time we choose to put God first and embrace His love, we position ourselves to impact the lives of others. What once was a story of shame becomes a powerful narrative of redemption through faith and trust. To embrace the lessons learned from the Samaritan woman, reflect on how you too can respond to God's invitation in your life. Are there areas where you have felt stagnant or unworthy? How can you embrace God's grace and transform your narrative into one of hope and purpose? Engage in daily prayer, inviting God to reveal the areas in your life where He is calling you to trust Him more deeply. Allow His words to resonate in your heart, reminding you that you are loved and worthy of His purpose. Additionally, consider how sharing your own experiences, whether of struggle or triumph, can serve as a powerful testimony to others. Like the Samaritan woman, your life can become a vessel for God's love, drawing others into the light of His grace. In summary, the story of the Samaritan woman at the well reveals the transformative power of putting God first and trusting in His plans. Each encounter we have with God invites us to let go of our limitations, embrace His identity for us, and share His love with the world. As we prepare to move into the next section, let this story inspire you to open your heart to God's voice and boldly respond to His invitation. Trust that each step you take in faith aligns you with the greater plan He has for you, a plan filled with purpose, promise, and abundant life. As we continue our journey of discovering how to access the bigger plan God has for you, we now turn our attention to the life of the Apostle Paul. Paul's transformation from a persecutor of Christians to one of the most influential apostles highlights the incredible power of putting God first and trusting Him to reveal your true purpose. His story is a testament to how, through submission to God's will, we can shift our lives dramatically and fulfill divine calling. Originally known as Saul of Tarsus, Paul was ardent in his persecution of early Christians. He held the power and zeal of a religious zealot, believing he was acting in defense of the Jewish faith. However, on the road to Damascus, everything changed. A brilliant light from heaven blinded Saul, and he fell to the ground. In that moment, Jesus spoke to him, asking, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Acts 9:4. This moment became the fulcrum of Paul's life, a dramatic encounter with God that set him on a new trajectory. This pivotal event illustrates a profound truth. Trusting in God often requires surrendering our preconceived notions and being open to profound change. Saul's identity and life purpose were redefined when he encountered Jesus. He went from being an adversary of God's plan to one of its most passionate advocates. This transformation reminds us that no matter where we start, God can redirect our paths and help us discover our true identities in Him. After his encounter with Jesus, Saul faced a series of challenges. Blinded, he was led into Damascus, where he spent 3 days in prayer and fasting. It was during this time that God prepared him for his new mission. Just as Saul had to seek God through those days of blindness, we too may find God calling us to periods of introspection and stillness to realign our hearts with His purpose. These moments of quiet are often where God reveals our true potential and opens our eyes to His plans. In God's divine orchestration, He also calls a disciple named Ananias to visit Saul. When the Lord instructs Ananias to lay hands on Saul and restore his sight, Ananias hesitates, voicing his concerns about Saul's past. However, God reassures him, saying, "For he is a chosen instrument of mine to carry my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel." Acts 9:15. This emphasizes that God sees the potential in us long before we see it in ourselves. When we put God first and trust His vision for our lives, we open doors to opportunities we could never have imagined. Ananias demonstrates the importance of obedience and faith in the process. When he lays hands on Saul, his obedience not only restores Saul's sight, but also ignites the spark of a powerful ministry that will reach far beyond Israel. After regaining his sight and being baptized, Saul, now Paul, immediately begins preaching the gospel, fearlessly sharing the message of Christ. His dedication illustrates how putting God first and trusting in His transformative power can lead to monumental shifts, not just in our lives, but also in the lives of countless others. Paul went on to plant churches, write letters, and establish foundational teachings that continue to inspire believers to this day. Paul's life encourages us to ask, are we ready to embrace our divine calling and trust God's guidance? Our journey may require leaving behind former selves, fears, and societal expectations. By surrendering to God's direction, we allow Him to redefine our identities and purposes, akin to how He transformed Saul into Paul. As you pursue your passions and desires, remember that God has entrusted you with unique gifts and callings. These blessings come with responsibility. Your action in faith can lead to incredible transformations, both personally and within your community. Reflect on the areas of your life where you may need to offer more trust to God, especially when navigating uncertainty. In conclusion, the story of the Apostle Paul serves as a powerful reminder of the profound impact of putting God first and trusting His plan. Every challenge we face on our journey can become an opportunity for growth, revealing the greater purpose God has crafted for us. As we prepare to transition to the next section, let Paul's encouraging example spur you to step forward in faith. Embrace the new identity God offers you and take action to fulfill the mission He places in your heart. Prepare to explore more inspiring biblical figures who answered God's call, demonstrating the incredible power of trust in pursuing His plans for their lives. As we conclude our profound exploration of Chiti, secret to shift life, put God first, and trust. Let us reflect on the powerful insights we have gathered along the way. From the transformative journeys of Abraham, Esther, and Paul, to the humility of Mary and the tenacity of the Samaritan woman, each narrative offers invaluable lessons on how prioritizing God and trusting in His divine plan can fundamentally shift our lives. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. Your commitment to understanding these concepts reveals a genuine desire to deepen your relationship with God and align your life with His purpose. Few take the time to truly engage with such meaningful content. Your dedication showcases a willingness to grow through faith. I encourage you to take the next step by commenting below with the phrase, "Trusting God first." This declaration symbolizes your commitment to putting God at the center of your life and actively trusting in His guidance. By sharing this affirmation, you not only reinforce your journey, but also contribute to a community of believers seeking divine direction. Don't forget to like this video. Your likes play a crucial role in helping others discover this message of hope and guidance. Each interaction contributes to spreading God's love, enabling those searching for purpose to find the insights shared here. Many individuals turn to this content for spiritual support, especially those who may not have access to a church or supportive community. Your engagement fosters an environment where believers can share their journeys, uplift one another, and grow in faith together. Encourage fellow viewers to comment. Peace in Christ, to signify our collective commitment to putting God first in our lives. As you reflect on the teachings shared today, remember that your journey of trust and purpose is ongoing. Regularly check in on your priorities and embrace the dreams and desires God has placed within you. Trust that He desires to lead you toward fulfilling your divine purpose and maintain consistent communication with Him through prayer and reflection. If you ever find yourself feeling that your prayers go unanswered, or if you are uncertain whether you are using your free will correctly, remember that you may need to adjust your perspective. In the description of this video, you will find a powerful hidden tool, a code that will teach you the perfect way to invoke the divine and manifest the desires of your heart with clarity. As we close, let's take a moment of quiet reflection. Allow the insights gained today to settle in your spirit. Use this time to offer gratitude to God for the wisdom and guidance you have received. This will create a sense of connection and peace as you prepare for the journey ahead. Thank you for joining us. May you step boldly into the abundant life God has planned for you, putting Him first as you navigate challenges and pursue your dreams. Embrace the trust that leads to remarkable transformation, and remember that you have the divine right to access a life filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Until next time, walk in faith and confidence, knowing that you are loved, equipped, and always guided by the unwavering presence of God in your life.